What if I told you that a single act of kindness could change hundreds of lives, even your own? Let's go.
The ripple of kindness. What if I told you that one small act of kindness could change not just one life, but an entire town? This is the story of a young boy whose compassion created ripples that reached farther than he could ever imagine. In a small town, surrounded by green hills and flowing rivers, lived a boy named Arham. He wasn't wealthy. He wasn't famous. He wasn't powerful. But he had something greater. He had a heart full of kindness. His parents often told him, "Kindness costs nothing, but brings back everything." And that simple truth shaped his life in ways no one expected.
The first act of kindness.
One freezing morning, while walking to the market, Arham saw an old man sitting by the roadside. His clothes were torn, his hands shook with cold, and his eyes carried the sadness of being forgotten. Arham stopped. He looked at the basket of cloth his mother had sent him to sell and the bread she had packed for his lunch. He knew his family depended on every coin. But in that moment, something mattered more. He took out the bread and handed it to the old man. "Eat this, uncle. It's not much, but it will warm you." The old man's eyes filled with tears. He whispered blessings as he ate, and for the first time in years, he felt human again. Arham walked away, not realizing that his small act had just started a ripple. That old man later shared the story of Arham's kindness with his son, a woodcutter. Inspired, the son carried firewood to a poor widow's home, free of charge. The widow, touched by this generosity, baked bread and shared it with her sick neighbor who had no strength to cook. That neighbor, once he recovered, began teaching a poor child how to read for free. And just like that, one piece of bread, one act of kindness, kept moving from person to person, quietly transforming lives. Days later, Arham faced his greatest test. Near the riverbank, a wealthy merchant's caravan was attacked by bandits. The merchant fell into the icy water, struggling for his life. The townspeople stood frozen, afraid to help. But Arham, small, young, and without strength, did not think twice. He leapt into the freezing current and fought against the rushing waves until he pulled the merchant ashore. Shivering, the merchant asked, "Why would you risk your life for me? I've never given you anything." Arham replied with a trembling voice, "Because kindness is not a trade. It's who we are when the world needs us most." The merchant never forgot those words. Later, that same merchant visited Arham's family. Instead of handing them coins, he gave them something far greater opportunity. He began buying Arham's mother's cloth for his caravans, spreading her craft to distant lands. He gave work to Arham's father, ensuring they would never struggle again. The boy who gave away his bread ended up feeding his entire family through kindness. Closing lesson years passed, and Arham grew into a man. He would often sit by the river with children around him, telling them the same lesson. Kindness is like a stone thrown into water. You may only see the first splash, but the ripples travel farther than your eyes can follow. Never think an act of kindness is wasted. It may change a life in ways you'll never know. And in that small town, kindness became more than just a choice, it became a way of life. This is the power of kindness. One boy, one loaf of bread, one ripple that never ended. If this story touched your heart, share it with someone who needs a little hope today. And remember, kindness costs nothing, but its value is endless.